Hello and welcome back to another very special episode of For Better For Worse. It's our Christmas special.
Oh, that was a funny voice.
Yeah, I kind of didn't breathe when I was talking.
No. Yeah. Christmas special. I love Christmas.
Yeah.
So excited. This will be going out on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
We've got a guest.
We have.
We have got a guest. His name is Chris. He's from the other side of the world.
He is.
In
All the
Australia.
way from down under.
Yeah, from Australia.
Yep.
I've just realised, weirdly, it'll be going out on Christmas Eve for all the UK listeners. But by the time it goes out, it'll actually be Christmas Day for him, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit odd. But yeah, as we say, a very good friend of ours. We want to welcome to the show, Chris. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah,
It is good.
good.
Yeah, happy.
Feels
Chris-
weird not to be here with my other bearded brother, but you know.
Yeah, so Chris, basically, as we've talked about before, we do a Wrexham AFC podcast, me and Sian, called Me, the Wife from Wrexham AFC. The reason we know Chris is that Chris also does a Wrexham AFC podcast called Two Beards, a Podcast on Wrexham AFC. And we became very good friends through our love for Wrexham Football Club. And we talk all the time. We're in a little Discord. Well, I'm in the Discord group. You're not allowed.
Yeah, I wasn't invited.
So yeah, that's how. So Chris normally is with a good friend of his called Adrian, and they present that together. But you're flying solo today, Chris. How's that?
Flying solo. Adrian actually left for Japan today, so he's I'm going to be without him for a couple of weeks, and you know it's going to be good. A little break from the hustle and bustle of YouTube and podcasting. So yeah,
Is it?
you know,
Do you think that? Or you're going to miss it, aren't you, after a week?
probably am. I probably am. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good because it was my sort of thing to take my mind off you know life in general and anything like it was just good to be able to have that time just to doing and creating stuff which I love to create. So yeah, so 3 weeks until we record again. That I think it'll be good because it's a grind. It's a massive grind, but
It is.
It is.
yeah, it's good though. It'll be a good little break for Christmas. So,
Yeah.
but
Nice.
yeah, how are you guys?
Well, yeah, we're good. We're ready for Christmas.
Oh, I can't wait.
I've been ready for Christmas for weeks.
You've been ready for Christmas since January. the
Yeah.
1st.
I like the time off. I love Christmas, but I'll be honest, I think I love the time off work more than I actually like Christmas.
Yeah.
Even though I do love Christmas. Because you've got kids as well, haven't you, Chris? And it's obviously all about kids at Christmas. That's what it's about. You know, you get to as soon as you have kids, that's it. No one gives a shit about you anymore, do they? It's just about kids at Christmas.
I don't know. I remember when I had you know, me and my ex, like she had a massive family, and Christmas was just a nightmare. Like, to put it simply, it was fucked. And you would have to try and because I'll preface it, I've got 3 kids. One, Leora, 16, who I have 50% of the time. She was from my first marriage. And then I've got Rosalie and Anastasia, who's from my second fiance. We were going to get married, but we decided it was better we be friends. And then trying to juggle that family with my youngest 2, and then also juggle it with Leora and trying to work 2 different sets of arrangements in together. It sapped a lot of the joy out of Christmas, and I was dreading it every year. I was, oh gosh. So now I'm single, it's not so bad. You're like, well, you know, I'll just go and do what I want to do. I've got my kids here. They're normally here for half the day. It's just nice and simple now. So, but it is always a stressful time of the year, especially financially.
Yeah, I mean, with when it comes to your kids, obviously because you're like a single parent now, is it like, do you always see them on Christmas Day, or do you ever do that thing where it's like, oh, this year they go there, and then next year you get them, or do you always get to see them on Christmas Day?
Yeah, so we alternate. So every year that ends in an odd number, I will get the kids on Christmas morning. And every year that ends in an even number, I'll get the kids on Boxing Day morning. So they will end up coming over Christmas night and doing their Christmas here on Boxing Day. Works pretty well.
Yeah. Is that rough
Um,
though? Is that rough on the years, the even number years? Is it a bit weird waking up Christmas morning and it's like, and they're not there?
it was at first. It was very tough at first, and I think, um, as a dad, you live for your kids. Um, so yeah, definitely at first it was brutal. I think a lot of those times around those holiday periods, especially Christmases, birthdays, and things like that, that's when you really feel it. Um, but then after a while, I think you just get sort of um desensitized to it. You just used to it. That's just the way it is. And you learn to try and cherish the time that you have with your kids when they're here. So it's yeah, but I definitely at first like I there were nights when I was just in tears. And I'm not the type of guy that cries a hell of a lot. But there were nights when yeah, I would retreat to my room and have a little cry.
Do you think it makes you, this might sound a weird question, because you haven't got your kids all the time, do you think that makes you a better dad? Because, and this sounds weird, but because you're more focused on your kids that when you've got them. Whereas, like, I know sometimes I get the guilt, I do as a parent.
Mm.
You know, when you go back to work on a Monday and you get that thing, my brain goes, did you spend enough time with your kid? Where you were attentive enough with your kid because he's here all
Or
the
you too
time?
tired?
Yeah, are you yeah, but do you think because you don't get that all the time, you sort of you're more focused in on your kids when you've got them?
Interesting. I think there is an element of that. And I I found more so when they grow up. There's like a stage when they just want to do their own thing. And then there's the stage when they're like they're what's the way to put it? It's like you just want to give them as much attention as possible. And then there's obviously the stage where you try and make it as normal as possible because they're essentially living in two different styles of households. So with my household being what I would like to consider very much traditional English, um, and that sort of, traditional English household, all that sort of stuff. So that's like mine, and it can be fairly strict. And whereas on when they go to the mums, it's another completely different type of lifestyle. And I had that three ways. So I had that with both Rosalie and Anastasia, my youngest two, and then Leora, my eldest one, because her lifestyle at her mum's house would be so vastly different to what she had here. And for whatever reason, it just made things. It got to a point. Every single kid that has gotten to that point where it's like, well, it takes a little bit of almost getting used to for them to come back to dads and then go back to their mums and vice versa. And more so with Rosalie and Anastasia who are autistic, we had to reduce the amount of time that they came up because the transition was too much. It was too much on them. And they would come up every second weekend. And they would come up for like 3 nights. And we had to reduce that down to one night because their autism, they just weren't coping with it. So we had to make a very tough decision and be like, well, the kids, they come first. And if they're struggling with this mentally, then we need to back it off a bit. So I'll compensate for that with, you know, more phone calls, more messages to them, and, you know, trying to connect with them more in that aspect, because that's what they do. That's their comfort thing. And I found that that's helped, but very much it's so weird with two different households how they deal with it. But I mean, at this point, I think I'm a professional. So,
Can well
but
imagine, yeah.
I'll preface this by saying I've been single for 8 years. Haven't so much as been on a date. Probably the most I've done is hugged someone, and that's about it for 8 years. Because I've just been so focused on my kids and life, and, you know, my podcast and my work and all that sort of stuff, that it's like, when I get time to fit a woman into that, you know, it's hard. Um, and then comes the complication of, well, when's the right time to introduce them to the kids? How do we say, hey, daddy's got a girlfriend, you know? And
I was
in,
gonna ask that. Obviously, you know, you've got a situation where, you know, like you said, you know, two of your daughters have got autism. Do you feel that you know, if there was an opportunity for a relationship that it would end up not going anywhere because you'd be so focused on how your kids would feel about that relationship that you might back away to the point where it wouldn't happen?
I don't know how to really answer that one, because having a relationship is so far from my desires, wants, or even so far from it being my mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are occasions when I miss, you know, cuddling up on a couch watching TV. You know, I do miss that sort of intimacy, but only on occasions. Normally around Christmas periods, or holiday periods, I tend to miss that a bit. But that said, you know, it does make dating very hard. And I think more so, that's a personal thing, because I'm so content and so happy with where I'm at. You know, it's like, if I bring something in to disrupt that, because look, all relationships are work, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
Whoa,
you know,
whoa! You didn't have to say that. You were just like, yes, yes, Chris, they are. Like,
Or aren't they? I mean, I'm sure I'm a handful at times,
at times.
or all the time.
all something I learned in my experience is all relationships, marriages, relationships, dating, it requires work and it requires time. And I've always said that I'm really content where I'm at. So it's going to take someone extremely special to pull me out of that. I'm not against it, but it will take someone very special to change that. So, you know, and my kids always come first, and they always will come first. Um, yeah, I always think about their needs before my own. And yeah, it would be nice to have someone, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world if I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you like you said, you've got your three children. And I suppose the love that you would give to a woman,
Yeah.
I don't mean rude love, but the love that you feel for your children, I suppose you can kind of put all of that love in, and all your heart into your children. And I suppose introducing, and like you know, you're saying it would be difficult to introduce you know, a girlfriend to them. I think even if to children that don't have autism, I think introducing a new person into their lives, it's a hard transition. So I suppose you've got it even harder, because obviously you do have children with autism.
I think that some people don't give a shit though, but in the sense of,
Or they'll just introduce every single
yeah,
person
yeah,
every
that's what I
day.
mean. You
Yeah.
know,
You do
you
see
know,
that.
people. Yeah, you see people who just
Yeah.
have boyfriend or girlfriend after boyfriend and girlfriend, and they don't give a shit about how
How
it
it
feels
affects.
about their kids. So you're on the sort of complete flip side of that, where it's all about, you know, your kids, and you are very conscious about introducing someone into that sort of, you know, family sort of relationship. Do you think you're putting yourself in a position, because you said if it happens, it happens. Are you putting yourself in positions where maybe it could happen, or are you avoiding that in the sense of dating? Are you going out and dating, or are you not doing that? And if somebody was to come along in day-to-day life, where are you on that?
I'm definitely not actively looking. I've
Okay.
done the whole Tinder thing,
I was going to
and
ask that
I've
actually, whether
done
you're on dating apps.
yeah, I've done the dating apps. I've done the Tinder thing. Um, I've had people at workmates like, come on, let's get you on Tinder, let's get you out. Seeing a girl. So some people are like, we got to get you, involved and back on the dating scene, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, all right, well, give it a shot. But it's so depressing. It is so depressing. And I kind of look as like, well, how do I explain to someone my situation when I don't know for most people around the world, but I can say with some certainty of people down here in WA, they can be very judgmental, and everything's all about the looks and all about what you can bring to the relationship rather than what type of person you are, or how big your heart is, how you care. Are you funny? Are you good to talk to? It's very hard to get that out straight away, and you just literally, oh yeah, that person looks sexy as fuck, so I'll just boom, 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 swipe right.
Right.
Swipe right. And it was depressing because I was getting fucking nothing. The only things I would get would be bots, um, or people trying to sell their OnlyFans. Um, that would be literally all I would get. And no one would want a genuine connection. No one would want to get to know me as a person and want to just chat or call up late at night and be like, hey, let's talk or anything. And it was just nothing, just bots and people trying to sell their OnlyFans. And that was it. So I got really, really frustrated with it. I was like, this is pointless. Like, why am I even doing this to myself? Because at the end of the day, it's only affecting, your own self-esteem.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. Yeah.
so I was kind of like, well, I just gave up. So now I'm kind of like, well, if I meet someone in day-to-day life, fair enough. But will that happen? I don't know. I don't know.
To be honest though, with things like Tinder and we've got, I don't know whether it's over in Australia, but we've got an app called Go Fish. And I only know the
Plenty of fish.
Plenty of Fish, that's it.
The only
Yeah, we
reason
got
I
Plenty
know
of Fish.
that, right? The only reason I know Plenty of Fish is there was a serial killer called the Plenty of Fish killer, and he used to go around and he used to pick up girls on Plenty of Fish, meet them and murder them.
Lovely.
Yeah,
A lovely story.
that's the only reason I know.
Well, the reason why I know Plenty of Fish is because my best
You're on it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've never been on a dating app.
No,
because-
me.
Yeah.
No.
But I know about Plenty of Fish because my best friend and her now partner met on Plenty of Fish.
All right.
So, but I think that is very, very rare. Although I do have another friend that met somebody on it as well. But I think it is a very rare thing for you to, like you said, to have that connection with somebody over an app. I just think it's
I imagine if I was on a dating app, I can't.
everyone would just be swiping left.
Shut up. But I can't. I can't imagine how, like Chris is saying there, there might be some really nice people, but all you are doing on a dating app, you're going,
by looks.
she's fit. She's fit, and you're not reading about these people, are you? It is literally what you can see. That is it, and that's all you're doing, and that would be what I would do. I wouldn't spend the time. I don't think I would. I'm just so lazy, and so it's not that looks are all that matters to me, but on a dating app, nothing other than looks really comes across unless
No.
you're going to spend the time reading each individual profile. That's
Mm.
not what's coming across, is it? Do you know what I mean? Remember back in the 80s when they used to have and I wasn't dating in the 80s, but I mean, they used to have that people used to record little videos and stuff.
Yeah, little
for-
dating
little
videos.
dating
Used to have
videos.
dating agencies and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, I'll ask you this. If you had to record a video telling people about yourself, what would your video say?
Fuck me dead. That's righto. That's,
Well, we can
That's
clip
a
this,
good one.
Chris, and we can get it on. We can get it on Twitter.
Yeah.
We can find
Yeah,
a partner.
on.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Come on.
Oh wow. Okay, well, I'm a 38-year-old single man, 3 kids, 2 separate mums, live at home with mum and dad. You know, I'm a complete, I'm so marketable. No, I don't know. Like it's talking about myself is a
It's
strange
hard,
one.
isn't it?
It
Yeah,
is,
it's
it is.
hard.
I would probably say, I'm Chris. I'm 38 years old, from sunny Perth, Western Australia, and I love life, love my kids, love family, and I would like to bring someone into the fold to, clap some cheeks and I don't know. Fuck, I just don't know. I'm so bad at that sort of stuff.
Clap some cheeks. What is that? I've never heard that saying before. What's that? What are the cheeks on the bum? The cheeks on the face? What?
Come on. Do I need to explain that? Yeah. I'll show you a video later.
No, don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange one when you have to try and market it yourself.
Yeah.
It is so strange and it's such a weird atmosphere. And I don't know, you like Plenty of Fish. Like I've been on Plenty of Fish as well, and that was the same, but that was where all the bots come in. And it would be so weird for females too, because they just get guys wanting to get the dicks out. And,
I know. Yeah, I can imagine that. And I can imagine that is just absolutely rife.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can't imagine. It sounds in my head, because I've never had a dating app. I've never used a dating app. We've been together for 13 years, and I'm not saying there wasn't mobile phones and technology when we got together, but it wasn't it wasn't a big thing, dating apps, was it, in 2009, just before we got together?
No.
It wasn't really, and to me, it just sounds so toxic.
It's like a minefield, isn't it?
It just sounds horrible. And
I mean, as a
if
woman,
you just want to get laid, I imagine it's
yeah.
probably a good place to go. But
yeah,
if
for actual connections, it's probably not. And like I said, I think it is very rare when you do when two people do find each other. Although actually, talking about my best friend, I know she didn't listen to this podcast, so I can say this. But her and her partner, he was like, "Oh no, we're not a couple," for about a year. He was like, "Oh, I'm still dating other people." Blah blah blah.
That would blow my mind, though. I couldn't do that.
No.
I couldn't. I know that's very modern, of going, right, I'm dating you, but I am seeing other people. I've in my life, I've never had that.
No.
I've never had that. So that's just that would be completely alien to me, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I completely understand. But I'm old-fashioned in the sense of no, in a dating sense, because like I would rather, again, not that I have done this a lot in my life, but I would rather chat somebody up face to face, like I did with you, and badly, but I would rather work on you face to face as opposed to over an app. It just feels weird. Like Chris, you said you felt really uncomfortable just doing that, and you weren't doing it for real. It was just just talking to us, but it sort of feels uncomfortable, like you're trying to market yourself, like you're some product that you're putting on a shelf.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. You're essentially you're the product, how are you going to sell yourself? And look, I do sales for a living, so I can probably do that. But I mean, when you've been single for so long, I think that's the hard part, is because you can become so content where you're at, and bringing someone else into that is I feel would mess up that flow, that, because like I was saying before, relationships and dating is all work, and it's like, well, why do I want to put in that effort when it's possibly going to go wrong? Um, you know, I've been lucky enough to be married once already in my life, and almost married for a second time, and I loved those two with all my heart. I truly believed that it was going to go that way, but with my second one, she drifted away herself, and she kind of fell out of love, whereas I was still so head over heels in love with her, and that was a tough one to take. And I guess in a way, those sorts of things and those experiences, they do have scars, and um they do leave that sort of impression behind. And it's like, well, if I'm not good enough for that person, what's going to make me good enough for someone else? And I was very much in that mindset for a long, long, long time, for a good couple of years. And um, I know it sounds depressing, but to me, it became my area of happiness, and I learned to find um, those connections elsewhere. So it wasn't like I was missing out. And it is a brutal, brutal thing for a single dad to go through. Um, the world in that I've sort of seen from where I'm at now is very strange, very materialistic, and you're seeing almost the rise of the sex work because of it.
Yeah, yeah.
They got the rise of OnlyFans and everyone wanting to sell their OnlyFans, or we've had plenty of brothels open up, um, massage parlors, things like that, because people are getting lonelier, and they're finding it harder to meet people and get those connections. So it's probably that industry is going through a boom because of those reasons.
Is that because people are connecting online though? So they're ultimately connecting with a laptop screen or an iPhone, as opposed to back in the day when we were younger, when you were connecting by going out and actually having human interaction.
Mm, yeah, I think so, because, like, I mean, look, when you're feeling down, or even if you see, like, let's face it, there's nothing better than just a cuddle at the right time, a hug at the right time, right?
Yeah.
Um, you can't beat that. And trying to connect with someone in a deeper meaning on a phone screen, it's just never going to happen. People don't understand your personality, or they don't understand your sense of humor just through text. You could say something that to you might be completely humorous, and to them, like, they're like, what the fuck? What a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah, but that happens in relationships. Like Sean might send me this is a weird thing which ties in quite well. When I know when Sean is annoyed with me, because Sean will message me, we use WhatsApp, and she'll message me and she'll put 4 kisses on the end of the message. When Sean's pissed off, she only puts 2. But sometimes when she's in a rush, she might only just put 2 as well. But when I only get 2 kisses or 1 on the end, I go, oh shit, she's in a mood. But it's the same sort of thing, because you can't read emotion through a text. It's impossible to do. So sometimes Sean might quickly send a text and put a kiss on the end and go, whoa, what's happening here? Why am I just getting the 1 kiss? Why am I getting the 1 kiss text? What have I done wrong? And you're very right. It's so hard to sort of read from a text.
Yeah, but I think as well, I think meeting people actually face to face as well. It can be, I would never, and I don't think I ever did, approach a man. If I was in a club and I saw a man, I thought, oh, do you know what, he's fit. I would never have the guts or whatever to go up to them and go, I think you're fit. I just wouldn't do it. And
No.
I think it's hard dating.
Oh, that is like the worst form of rejection, I think. And it's like I was out at the casino with a couple of friends, and there was a group of ladies, quite nice looking ladies, and they were all egging me on. They're like, "Hey, go over there, go talk to them." So I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go." And I kind of knew what was going to happen straight away. So I walked on over, and there was this gorgeous girl with this really nice gold halter neck top, and she was stunning. I tapped her on the shoulder and I just said, "Hey, look, I just want you to know you are absolutely stunning. I would love to buy you a drink or even just have a photo with you or something." I don't know. She was hot as hell, but yeah, I just tapped her on the shoulder, like, "Hey, just want you to know you're really stunning, and I would just love to buy you a drink and have a chat with you if you want." And she turned around, looked at me, and went, "No, fuck off." In front of everyone. I was mortified. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's why I don't approach women."
Yeah.
See, women can be bitches.
But it's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's like I've obviously, had rejections, face-to-face rejections. But to me,
I rejected you for a little bit.
yeah, you did. But I don't know. I think some people, different people react in different ways to that. And I
Yeah.
think a face-to-face rejection to me is character building. No, I'm not going to say that. I don't know.
It is a
But
little bit, isn't it?
It is
It
a
is
little
a little
bit.
bit character building because,
yeah,
like, you sometimes you kind of turn around and just be like, "Well, you missed out."
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, like, it's so hard. Like, even as a single dad, like, I'll this actually happened to me. I took my kids out to a shopping center, and you get people looking, "Oh yeah, look at that, that's a nice dad, he's taking his kids around the shopping center," all that. You do get a few looks, and you do notice them. As a single dad, you notice them. um and I had to take my littlest one, Anastasia, into a toilet because she was just being potty trained at the time, and she needed to go. So I had to take her into the family bathroom, and I'm in there, and I'm, showing her what to do, and I put her on the toilet and all that, and I'm sitting there watching her, waiting for her to be done. And this lady walks in, and she's like, "What are you doing in here?" I'm like, "My kid's on the toilet." So what do you want? Like, and she's like, "You shouldn't be in here. This is for mums and their kids." I'm like, "No, this is a fucking family room."
Wow.
But I felt gutted and horrible and judged, and I was just like, "Okay, well, you know what? My kid's almost done. We'll be out of your way shortly, and we'll just go." And that's the kind of judgment you sometimes get and sometimes have to deal with. And look, she was out of line. She was in the wrong completely. But, it is that all these little things that happen as a single dad, you notice more, and it hits you more, and you're just kind of like, "Okay, well, that's why you very much I've come into my own lane and just doing my own thing, and I don't even bother with dating apps. I don't bother going out meeting people. If I meet someone in day-to-day life, I think that's going to be the only way I meet someone."
Yeah.
So,
I think, talking of like single dads, I think they get a hard time because, this is from a woman's perspective. I know a few people who have had relationships broken up, and they've got kids, and the mum is so, I get it. If the man had been like abusive or horrible or whatever, I get that. I get why you wouldn't want your child seeing that. But with somebody like you, who is obviously a great dad, and but they don't allow their children see their dad. And
what's the law like in Australia, Chris? Because it's very much, I think, you know,
all
in
mothers, it's all for mothers over
yeah, a
here.
lot, you know,
Mm.
when a relationship breaks down and there's kids involved, in this country and a lot of countries, it very much favors the mum being the one who is the that sort of has the kids the majority of the time, and there's a phrase in this country which has been coined, which is very much weekend dad. And don't get me
Mm.
wrong, you know, there are a lot of dads
Who love that.
yeah, who that is their thing, and
Yeah.
they're more than happy having their kids for a short periods of time. But what's the law like in Australia? Is it similar? Is it very much geared towards the
Very,
mums?
Sean hit the nail on the head. It does feel that way. In some instances, it's not, but the courts here, and I've been through the family court system. The courts here, they use the term "in the best interests of the child,"
Yeah,
and normally, "in the best interests of the child" is up to a judge or magistrate that probably has old-fashioned views and is like, the mum is the caregiver, the mum has more rights than the male. And a lot of people say I mean, it doesn't happen in every case, because I went through a period of time where I had full custody of my eldest, which I won't disclose on here, but obviously it was to do with a hard time happening at home, but they do use that term "in the best interest of the child" more enough that falls towards the mum. And child support is a tough one. It's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. Myself, I will always pay child support, even if I think the system's unfair. I'm doing my duty of what the state has set and what they're mandated, so I will pay whatever they tell me to pay. Because you hope it goes towards the kids. Not in all cases that's true. Some cases it's not, but you hope it goes towards the kids. But at the end of the day, in the best interest of the child is generally down to one person to decide. And it's very, it's a bit tough.
yeah,
And
definitely.
you can end up fighting for, some people I know have been fighting for their kids for 7 years now, just to get regular time with them.
I mean,
And
that's crazy
yeah,
because you know, for it to go that long, you know, you're sort of drifting potentially towards a time when they're not kids anymore, you know, and and all of a sudden they're at an age. But Chris, it's been great you sharing all this with us. It's been absolutely fantastic. But you know, I wanted to, let's bring it back to Christmas. So this is an odd number year. So you've got the kids
yes,
at Christmas.
yes.
So what's it going to be like in the Rouse household for Christmas this year?
In the Rouse house.
Yeah, in the Rouse house.
I like it.
So that's going to be very much, they'll wake up in the morning. They'll most likely wake me up, and come and jump on my bed. So they'll be here throughout that whole weekend leading into Christmas Day. Then normally I'll get up. We wait for everyone to get up. So the whole family's together. We do the present opening. And then Dad will make a nice breakfast of scrambled eggs, the little chipolatas or English sausages, just a complete English fry up, because my favorite breakfast is an English fry up. I mean, there's nothing like it.
No, you were
So,
totally right. Yeah.
oh, you get the tomato and you grill it and you put the melted cheese on top, and it's just, so I'll do that, and all my kids love it. And I'll get like spreads of pastries with croissants, and what are they, what do you call them, lattices over there? The
Yeah.
little, yep. So you get those, apple and custard and all that sort of stuff, and just do a big spread and
Yeah.
a big English fry up as well at the same time. And my sister, and she's got a boyfriend at the time, will come up, and my kids will be here, all my kids, and we'll just have a nice little family breakfast for Christmas. It's great. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Does
Um,
Does the fact that two of your children have autism, does that affect the way that you have to approach Christmas Day? In the sense of like
Um,
the overstimulation of all the stuff going on and all the presents and potentially a lot of visitors coming in, does that change anything in the way that you have to manage that day?
I think I don't. I actually haven't changed how I would handle Christmas very much because it's something that you just grow into with your kids. Like you get used to their little mannerisms and the way they are, so you naturally just kind of adapt things over time to sort of favor them. Um, so I think when I'm looking at that, like we generally have a pretty fun Christmas, but because we don't have a big family. All of our families in England, and now spread out, Liverpool, Coventry, through the Midlands and all that sort of stuff. So they're all spread out around England. So we don't get that. Like we don't have to go, to someone else's family or anything like that. We don't get any of that. So we can be very much compartmentalized and as a
Insular.
small, tight little family unit. So I think that probably helps them a little bit. They would get overwhelmed. They'll probably need to, go have some time to themselves. But generally they're just happy to get up and open presents and, even though they are autistic, they do a lot of things like normal kids do. My youngest one will most likely want to go and retreat if she gets too overwhelmed, and we just let them go and do it. Let them, and they will come out and they will interact when they feel they need to or feel comfortable enough to. And sometimes it might take Dad to walk in there and just say, "Hey, how you going? Are you feeling okay?" And have a little chat with them for them to then sort of come back out and get involved with it all. But I guarantee you, the second Daddy puts bloody scrambled eggs on the table, they are there like that. So
It's always food with kids, isn't it?
It is food.
Yeah.
It's a big level of food. Whatever's going on. When our son has like a bit of a meltdown and with anything going on, and
Yeah.
he'll go off to his room. Maybe he's been shouted at something. If you want to go and speak to him,
Just open a packet of crisps.
take some food, and that's
Yeah.
it. It's great. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. We love talking to you, and we could talk for absolute hours. Whatever it's about, we could talk to you. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's been great.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it.
So yeah, we just want to wish you and your family the best Christmas ever. And and we'll obviously speak to you probably before the big day anyway.
I'll speak to you later on, to be honest. So.
Yeah, oh yeah,
you'll be
forget
on
the
you'll be in the
football.
chat.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, lovely. It's been great, guys. Honestly, it's very different side of me that not a lot of people get to see, but it's been a real interesting experiences, especially doing it by myself without agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know you're a good guy anyway, so
Yeah.
what you've said today has not
Solidified that.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
you're a top bloke, Chris.
Top bloke.
Top
Oh,
bloke, and
thank
we
you,
love you
guys.
very, very much.
And I hope you guys have a good Christmas and all that as well. So I send that one right back to you.
Cheers, Chris. If anybody wants to get in touch, all the usual places, and I don't know what they are. They are
Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We don't do Facebook. We don't do Threads because
No.
I just can't be bothered, basically.
No, or you can email us at the For Better For Worse podcast at gmail.com. Everyone, we hope you have an amazing Christmas, and we will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.